September 21st, 2004. The body of 15-year-old Takami Joji was discovered in the lower reaches of Suwa River in Omota City, Fukuoka Prefecture. That very same night, a 45-year-old woman was arrested for his death. But as it soon turned out, Joji wasn't the only person she had killed, and the case was far bigger than anyone could have imagined at the time. To start, let's go all the way back to the beginning. Mami was a large woman at 170 centimeters tall and almost 100 kilograms, with a large tattoo of Kanon on her back. She first got married at 19 to a man 17 years her senior, and they had a daughter, but then soon divorced. At 22, Mami married another man, this time 16 years her senior, and they had a son, Takashi, and a daughter. 2 years later they divorced, and Mami married 2 more times, before finally marrying Kitamura Jitsuo, her 5th husband, who at 160 centimeters was much smaller and demure than her. Together they had 2 sons, the first of whom they named Takahiro. Jitsuo was the leader of the Kitamura-gumi Yakuza gang in Fukuoka. The Kitamura-gumi came under the Murakami family umbrella within the Dojinkai, although they were a small gumi with only a few members, most of them family members. Mami was believed to be the true power behind the Kitamura-gumi, however, and the press later dubbed her the Empress. She was known to be violent, quick to anger, and mentally unstable. She sent her sons to shake down construction sites for money, beat up other women in biker gangs, and once reportedly drove her car into a guardrail after getting angry, while screaming, "I'm going to die." She was also rumored to be addicted to meth. Takashi, Mami's first son, to her second husband, briefly trained as a sumo wrestler by the name of Kyokuryujin, but he wasn't very good at it and reportedly fled after setting the curtains alight in the stable one day. Takahiro, Mami's second son, to her 5th husband, Jitsuo, also briefly trained as a sumo wrestler by the name of Miike-san, but like his brother, wasn't very good at it and also left. Both boys were well-known delinquents with long rap sheets and soon joined the Kitamura-gumi with their father. Mami, Jitsuo, Takashi, and Takahiro were the main players in what was about to go down. In 1994, Mami met a woman by the name of Takami Sayoko. She was a loan shark who made quite a lot of money from her high interest rates, and the 2 women quickly became friends. Mami also borrowed money from Sayoko, but over time her debt spiraled and she was unable to pay it back. As such, Mami's husband and sons, members of the Kitamura-gumi, worked as muscle for Sayoko instead, bringing her back money from those who tried to avoid their repayments. And in return, Sayoko would pay them a small fee for their troubles. This continued over the years, but the Kitamura-gumi were unhappy with how much they were being paid. As such, they decided to embezzle money from the funds they recovered, amounting to hundreds of thousands of yen over the years. Sayoko uncovered this deceit in 2004, and it led to a large argument. But this alone wasn't enough to cut off relations between the women. The Kitamura family also ran a construction company on the side, their official business. But this wasn't going well either. They borrowed money from Sayoko to pay off other gangs and funnel money to the gumi above them, and by September 2004, their debts to Sayoko totaled 66 million yen. Naturally, they had no way to pay this massive debt back, so Mami, 45, and Jitsuo, 60, got together to discuss what to do. They decided there was only one way out of this financial black hole they found themselves in. They would murder Sayoko, 58, they got Takashi, 23, also involved in the plan. Yet, Takashi decided to beat his parents to the punch by killing Sayoko himself and taking all her money. He got his younger brother Takahiro, 20, involved, and shortly after 10 p.m. on September 16th, 2004, the two brothers broke into Sayoko's home. The only person home at the time was Joji, Sayoko's 15-year-old son. Joji's older brother, 18-year-old Tatsuyuki, was actually friends with Takahiro. They were in a motorcycle gang together, although many reported that Takahiro treated Tatsuyuki mostly as an errand boy. But regardless, after several failed attempts, Takahiro himself strangled his friend's younger brother with a towel. The brothers put Joji in their car, but as they were driving, Joji once again regained consciousness. Takahiro's several attempts at strangling him had only knocked him out, and the boy reacted violently when he realized where he was. Again, Takahiro strangled him, this time succeeding. They then tied concrete blocks to his body before throwing him in the Suwa River, roughly a 5-minute drive from his house. Takahiro then pawned some of the contents of the safe the following day, giving his older brother the 108,000 yen he got from it. Takashi then handed Takahiro 40,000 yen of that money. Sayoko soon noticed her son was missing. Mami invited the moneylender to the Kitamura office, under the pretense of looking for her missing son together. But of course, she had ulterior motives. Her sons had beaten her to the punch and already killed Joji, which complicated matters. Mami and Jitsuo debated whether they should now get rid of Sayoko as well, so Takashi suggested they get Takahiro to do it again. Takashi had his younger brother prepare a spiked lunchbox for Sayoko to eat. Takahiro put a crushed sleep-inducing drug that the brothers trafficked into the food, and then gave it to Mami, who then gave it to Sayoko. "Let's eat before we look for Joji," she said. After eating the laced food, Sayoko passed out. Once Sayoko was out cold, the 4 Kitamura family members reportedly debated who would be the one to finish her. Around midnight on September 18th, the family put her in a van and drove 30 minutes to the Omota Harbour Wharf. Once there, Takahiro strangled her with a wire. According to his own statements, Takahiro was drinking juice, having a cigarette, and laughing while he killed his friend's mother. Rather than immediately throwing her body in the ocean, the family then covered Sayoko with a plastic sheet. Again, according to his own statements, Takahiro sat on her as they drove around, the idea of sitting on a dead body being thrilling to him. The family continued driving around with her in the back of the van, and they stole 240,000 yen from her purse as well. But why didn't they just get rid of the body? Well, the family had decided to kill Sayoko's other son, Takahiro's friend, Tatsuyuki, as well. The family arrived home around 1:35 a.m. that night. 25 minutes later, the 3 Kitamura men then drove to Sayoko's home in the hopes of finding Tatsuyuki. They found the house empty and were attempting to break in as Tatsuyuki pulled into the driveway. Takahiro waved to his friend and approached him so they wouldn't seem suspicious, but then noticed that Tatsuyuki had another friend with him, 17-year-old Hara Junichi. This put a wrench in the family's plans. The 3 Kitamura men quickly discussed what to do with this unexpected development, and then decided they would have to get rid of Junichi as well. Takahiro received a small pistol from his father and convinced Tatsuyuki and Junichi to get in the back seat of the car. He got in the driver's seat and engaged the child lock without their knowledge, so the two young men would be unable to escape. Jitsuo and Takashi also joined them in the car for a full house. At 2:15 a.m., Takahiro drove everyone to another wharf close to the mouth of the Omata River. This was an industrial area with little traffic late at night, so it made the perfect location to quietly deal with the two young men at once. He pulled out the pistol his father had handed him and showed it to the boys in the back. "This is a model gun," he said. "It makes noise, but there are no bullets. Let me show you." He placed it against Junichi's head and fired. Junichi fell forward and stopped moving. Tatsuyuki was so shocked that he froze. "I killed both Sayoko and Joji," Takahiro then told his longtime friend. "There should be 20 million yen in your house. Where is it?" Tatsuyuki replied that he didn't know where the money might be, to which Takahiro then replied, "I'm sorry, but I have to kill you too. Give me your head." Amazingly, neither of the young men died after being shot. Jitsuo heard them moaning in pain and ordered Takahiro to do it again, this time in the heart. He did as instructed, but Junichi survived again. So Takahiro finally finished the job with a pick. With the two young men gone, the Kitamura men returned home, put Sayoko's body in the car with them, then drove to the bank near the Umaoki Bridge over the Suwa River. This was the same area they had dumped Joji's body, and between 2:40 and 2:50 a.m, they dumped the car with the three bodies into the river. The family then returned to Sayoko's house to look for her money, but were unable to find what they were after. On September 21st, around 10 a.m, Joji's body was discovered roughly 10 meters from where he had been dumped. At 1 a.m. that same night, police arrested Kitamura Mami on suspicion of dumping his body. As police questioned her, she confessed to killing 4 people, including Joji. Only Mami was taken into custody, and the following morning, Jitsuo visited the police station to ask why his wife had been arrested. Jitsuo was then also taken in for questioning, and at 10:16 a.m. that morning, while being questioned by police, Jitsuo took out his pistol and shot himself. He perhaps should have learnt from the experience with Tatsuyuki and Junichi, however, because the shot didn't kill him. Jitsuo was then taken to the hospital, alive. On September 23rd, the bodies of Sayoko, Tatsuyuki, and Junichi were then discovered. Takahiro was then also arrested, and over a week later, on October 2nd, Takashi was arrested as well, after going on the run. Then, on October 7th, Jitsuo was also officially arrested. At first, the family was indicted on charges of corpse abandonment, but it was later upgraded to robbery and murder. Police considered Mami to be the ringleader, despite Jitsuo claiming that he had done it all alone. It wasn't until later that police discovered it was actually Takahiro, the youngest son, who was behind all 4 killings. The family were less than cooperative in custody, and their counsel constantly changed as their defense lawyers repeatedly quit over how abusive and hard the family members were to work with. Their trials also had to be split. Mami and Takahiro were tried together, as they admitted to the crimes. But because Jitsuo claimed to have committed everything by himself, he was tried by himself. Unlike the rest of his family, Takashi pleaded not guilty, so he was also tried separately. On October 17, 2006, Mami and Takahiro were sentenced to death. Then, on February 28, 2007, Jitsuo and Takashi were also sentenced to death. All appealed, and on December 25th that same year, the sentence was upheld for Mami and Takahiro. The death penalty is unavoidable due to their self-centeredness and selfish actions, the judge said. The judge also pointed out that while Mummy did not kill the victims with her own 2 hands, she played an important role in the crime by bringing her sons in. It was reported that Takahiro yelled, "Merry Christmas," as he left the court after the ruling. As of making this video, 3 members of the Kitamura family are still alive in prison. Takahiro married a female supporter while in prison in 2013, and reportedly changed his surname from Kitamura to Inoue. He also released a memoir while in prison titled, "My Entire Family Has Been Sentenced to Death," and a fictionalized movie based on the book was released in 2017, titled Death Row Family. And while Mami and Takashi are still alive, Jitsuo passed away in February 2025 from pneumonia. He was 81. It is currently unknown when the others' sentences will be carried out. But what did you guys think of this one? Let me know in the comments below, and if you'd like to help support this channel so you can see more content like this, please consider hitting that join button down below as well. Every bit of support really helps. Thanks guys, and I'll see you again next time.